And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is The Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here. Today on the big program, lots to get to, lots to talk about. End of the week, Wingnut Week in Review. And what a entertaining week it has been, with craziness, with insanity, and with really questioning what people have claimed to believe for such a long time. The interest this week for me is watching the right wing attack the military. Someone like Tucker Carlson attacking the Joint Chiefs, the Joint Chief of Staff, as a pig and stupid. I mean, it's really quite remarkable that someone who couldn't beat his way out of a paper bag is looking at a guy who would really cause him some serious damage just by sneezing on him. Quite amazing stuff. And to see someone like J.D. Vance, who tweeted out that I personally would like American generals to read less about white rage, whatever that is, and more about not losing wars. I don't know. I'm in this spot where you just kind of go, I don't know. I don't know if the guys who were the lunch money victims when they were in school should be really poking, someone like Millie. I don't know. And this is where you go, what is it that the Republicans are trying to do? What is it that the message masters are trying to say? What are they trying to convey to, their viewers and the minions, the faithful, when Laura Ingraham talks about defunding the military? And yet I don't hear those uber patriots who are waving the flag and saying how much they love the troops. I don't see them with any outrage. And this is troublesome, because you've got these really far out extreme people who've been extreme for a long time. But at least they were somewhat consistent in the flag, somewhat consistent in, the military. Those are sacrosanct to them. And you remember back during, when Colin Kaepernick, remember him when he was playing football and they were kneeling for the national anthem? Remember how horrible that was? Oh my God, I can't believe he won't stand for the national anthem. You now remember, these are the people who say, thank the troops because they give us our freedoms. You now have these people attacking them because they're woke, because how dare they want to understand what made thousands of angry white people storm the Capitol and the rhetoric that we hear every day. And look, it's out there all over the place. Fox News isn't even crazy enough. This, the whole thing with, and understand, I've been doing this a lot of years. And I've been fortunate to be in spaces. I shouldn't put it that way. Maybe I shouldn't put it that way. Not fortunate enough. I have been in spaces where Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and the skinny one, Ann Coulter, Alex Jones. I've been in rooms and arenas with these folks. And I've always said, I seriously doubt any of them to their core believe what they spew. It's all about the rage machine. It's all about the red meat. It's all about getting people all bunched up and angry, because angry people listen. Angry people buy your crappy vitamins and do whatever you want them to do. Sign up and be in your 912 groups and Tea Party groups. They when you can convince them that someone's coming for something, especially if it's one of the others, if you can convince them that the others are coming for you and your children, oh boy, ratings go up. If you keep people afraid, keep them down in the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, you keep them scared, naked and afraid. If you can do that, you got loyal listeners. You got marching soldiers. And this is what they're doing. So I look at Tucker Carlson going, can you believe these woke generals and pig and stupid? What he's really trying to do is, the old shtick isn't working. And this is where my mind is going in this moment. The old shtick's not working. The old rage machine just isn't getting the results. Because sadly, even further to the extreme is the new rage machine. And that's this OA1. These folks are way out. And I saw a clip today of one of their hosts talking about how the election, how a sitting president losing an election is a coup, which is weird to me because I always thought, never mind, we can have that later. But this guy's going on about, are there hundreds of people in this coup? The people who stole the election, even though there's no proof anywhere that the conspiracy that they're laying out, the big lie that they keep regurgitating over and over, actually happened. But it doesn't stop them because it's about ratings. It's about rage. It's about bringing people in and making money. This is what this is about. These people don't really believe this stuff. It's what's scripted for them. It's today's outrage. And it's meant to keep you, riveted to the TV and regurgitating their stuff and buying their books. But this guy goes on and saying, is it hundreds of people? Is it thousands of people who are in this coup? The people who evidently, with the Chinese bamboo ballots and, the Martian ships or whatever they, the guy who drove the truck of ballots all around New York City, those people who stole the election. And he goes on and he says, what we used to do with those people? We had a pretty good system for dealing with those traitors. And he went there. I'm going, no way he's going to go there. No way he's going to go to, we execute them. But he did. Now, stop and think about this for a second. The people who actually invaded our capital with the expressed intent of bringing our government to its knees and stopping the certification of a presidential election, those, in his mind, not traitors, not people who should be executed, but people who showed up, did their job, and did it well, but didn't come to the outcome that he wanted, those folks should be executed according to this gentleman. Now, I took some solace in the fact that a Republican congressman actually stepped forward and said, "Hey, this is a bit crazy. This is the kind of stuff that's going to get us killed." In fact, his name's Peter Meyer. He's a Republican from Michigan. He was elected to Congress in 2020. When the election was stolen, because remember, you had the Michigan Senate. Their report just came out, said they found nothing. There's nothing. Yet still wanted to go through all the voter suppression stuff. But he won an election in 2020. Amazing how that happens. He tweeted out, "Let me be clear. More people will die because of craven propaganda like this. When there are no arrests because this is all a lie, people are going to lose their lives. As they go through and look for the audits that are going to prove nothing other than more falsehoods, people are going to die. Because as this guy points out, here's the sad reality. As they find there's nothing there, and you still have people ramping up this rhetoric of there was a coup and the criminals got away and the justice system did nothing. What is that going to mean? Well, it's going to mean you're going to get these nitwits who are heavily armed, who are going to start to believe that they need to take justice into their own hands, like the crazy people in Michigan who were going to kidnap the governor and try her for whatever crimes they had in their twisted little heads that she had committed. And they had planned on executing her because the rhetoric of people, like the dangerous rhetoric of people like this OA1, whatever it is. And you go, but they've got free speech. At what point do you start going, hold on, there's free speech, and then there's just out and out BS and dangerous BS. The thing is, I look to this Republican politician, and there aren't many of them. That's the scary part. This guy is the exception rather than the rule. My congressman, Scott Perry, evidently found in a video here recently, calling Democrats Nazis, feeding into the big lie, feeding into the lie that, somehow the Democrats stole this. And they plan to destroy the country. They're traitors. This is coming from a sitting congressman. And I got to wonder, and this is one of those weird things because Scott Perry, he ranked pretty high in the military at one point, somewhere near a general. He ranked pretty high. I got to wonder how he feels. Unless he's bought into, the military that I led is woke. Scary stuff. Now, the thing about Scott Perry was one of those people instigating what happened on January 6th. So if there truly is a traitor, Perry should look in a mirror. And maybe, here's a thought, maybe the OAN guy should look at Perry. Where does this end? I mean, this is the kind of craziness we've been seeing this whole week. And now you got Nikki Haley, who, again, Nikki Haley at one point wasn't insane. But now running around screaming, decrying the Democratic socialists and the socialist agenda, boycotting the Olympics, going on this screed because she needs to keep the outrage machine full. She needs to keep the base angry. She needs to keep them, wrapped up. So she's in Iowa doing her shtick. And still, it's not enough. It's not enough for them. And it makes me wonder, how much further does the insanity go? When do we say enough is enough? When do we stop? We can't even talk about critical race theory and have a discussion about what it is because, we can't have a discussion on what anything is. Because if I don't... My grandfather always had a funny saying, if I don't know it, it ain't worth knowing. And that's kind of the Republican mantra right now. Give you a perfect example. Madison Cawthorn. Madison got elected purely on his looks. Good-looking young guy in a wheelchair. Probably got some sympathy votes because people thought he was in the military. No, he was in a car wreck after having claims, a whole bunch of claims of sexual misconduct, but that's a whole nother thing. He was on the floor of the House, mocking people. He said, quote, "It was Thomas Jefferson that said, 'Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or our dictates of our passions, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. Let's cast our eyes over the facts, shall we?'" Yeah, let's start with the main fact. That was not said by Thomas Jefferson. You can't pick things off of Facebook and say that's fact. No, it was actually John Adams. So get that right from the beginning. And look, this is the interesting part of all of this. You got these folks who they did their research, had their mouth open looking at YouTube and Facebook. And as Reagan always said, there's so much that they believe that isn't true. We're really living that. Now, it comes back to our education system, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. As much as you want to scream about the education system, there is still some thought that goes into education. And maybe teaching people to think critically so that when they hear things, they can evaluate it and filter it through a series of thoughts and come to a reasonable place. Ron DeSantis this week, the governor of Florida, he signed House Bill 233. This is going to require public universities to put out a survey. Got to survey all the students and the staff. Got to do this every year so that they're able to assess their beliefs. They're able to assess, quote, the extent to which competing ideas and perspectives are presented, and whether students and faculty feel free to express beliefs and viewpoints on campus and in classrooms. Now, here's my thing. I know why they're doing this. They're doing this because the Milo Yiannopoulos of the world, I'm sorry, I butcher his name because I don't know it, conservative, flamethrower, who, people didn't let speak on college universities, campuses. I'm in favor of him speaking. But this is them saying, the liberal universities are destroying our education, while they're simultaneously saying we can't teach critical race theory on college campuses. Now, let me go back to what Ron DeSantis signed. They want to do a survey to see if people's beliefs and their ideas, competing ideas and perspectives, are presented. They want to make sure that competing ideas and perspectives are presented, like critical race theory. Now, understand, the goal in this is to starve the universities that don't comply with their belief structure. That's really what this is. The bill doesn't say anything what they're going to do with the surveys, but DeSantis himself has said there could be budget cuts, which means that if you don't do what the DeSantises of the world want, bad things could happen to your budget. Bad things could happen to your university. And this has been, just the kind of insanity that's gone on just a little bit this week. I mean, I didn't even get into Dick Morris, who was on one of the even a crazier station than Fox News, this Newsmax, who said, critical race theory is evidently, according to him, is going to make kids want to kill their fathers and marry their mothers. I'm not making that up. And the host went, yep, I can see that. We're talking crazy land. We're talking, we need mental health beds and we need them soon. So if you're a Republican at this moment, I ask you all the time, please take your party back to somewhere near sane. Throw these people to the curb. Let them start their wackadoodle party somewhere else. We got work to do. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. I'm going to take a quick break. Right back after this. Stick around.
There's nothing more American than workers standing up, and the union gives a voice to win. On the Rick Smith Show.